All right, let's dive deep into the heart of Indian mysticism today. We're going to explore a pretty mind-blowing idea. What if you aren't actually separate from the universe at all? And our guide on this wild journey is an incredible philosopher from the 8th century who made this whole concept, well, crystal clear. So, let's start with a question that, let's be honest, probably everyone asks themselves. I mean, think about it. We live in this world that's just full of noise, right? So many distractions, so many things pulling at our attention. How on earth are we supposed to find real, lasting meaning in all of that? You know, how do we connect our everyday lives with that deeper part of us that's searching for something more? Well, for thousands of years, Indian philosophy has had a pretty compelling answer. It says that the path to that deeper meaning, it isn't out there somewhere. Nope. It's been right here, inside us, the whole time. It's all about taking a journey inward to find a truth that doesn't change. And the person who's really going to be our guide for this inner journey, he's a towering figure from the 8th century, someone who just simplified these ancient, complex teachings in a truly amazing way. His name is Adi Shankaracharya. And look, he wasn't just some philosopher sitting in a room thinking deep thoughts. He was this brilliant mind who took all these complex, ancient scriptures and wove them into something that actually made sense, a clear, logical system. You could almost call it a practical roadmap for anyone looking to experience that ultimate truth for themselves. To really get why he was such a game changer, you have to picture what things were like back then. Imagine this spiritual landscape where you've got all these sacred texts, but everyone has a different interpretation. It was confusing, to say the least. It led to a lot of arguments. Shankar's genius was his ability to just cut right through all that noise. He used pure logic to point to the one single, unifying truth that was hiding underneath it all. And that, right there, brings us to the very core of his philosophy. And get ready, because it's an idea that's somehow both incredibly simple and totally mind-bending at the same time. Okay, so Shankara's whole philosophy really boils down to two key concepts. On one hand, you have Atman. That's the individual soul, right? The very essence of you. And on the other hand, you have Brahman. That's the big one, the ultimate reality, the universal spirit, the fabric of all existence. So at first glance, they seem like two totally separate things. But, and this is the big but, here comes the twist. Shankara pointed to these ancient sayings from the scriptures, and one in particular just changes the entire game. Tat Twam Asi. It translates to, thou art that, or more simply, you are that. So what does that even mean, you are that? It means the separation we feel between ourselves and the universe, it's an illusion. This is the absolute heart of his teaching, called Advaita Vedanta, which literally means non-dualism, or not two. It's this incredible idea that your individual soul, your Atman, isn't just a piece of the universal reality, Brahman. No, it is Brahman. There's only one single unified existence. Okay, wow, so if we really are one with everything, how do we actually feel that? How do we experience that truth instead of just thinking about it? Well, this is where Shankara gets super practical. He laid out a very clear path. See, Shankara's path really puts the emphasis on something called jnana, which means knowledge or wisdom. He said that, yeah, rituals and devotion are good, they have their place, but the most direct way to liberation, the superhighway, if you will, it's through real understanding, through direct experience, and by asking the big questions about yourself. And he broke this path down into a few key steps. First up is Viveka. This is all about learning to tell the difference between what's real and eternal, that's Brahman, and what's temporary and, well, unreal, which is most of the material world we get so caught up in. Once you start doing that, it naturally leads to the next step, Vairagya. That's a kind of detachment from all those worldly illusions. And finally, all of this builds up to jnana, where you truly embrace that self-inquiry and deep knowledge to realize who you really are. Now, that sounds like a pretty clear path, doesn't it? But if it's that straightforward, why isn't everyone walking around enlightened? Why is it so hard for most of us? What's really standing in our way? Well, according to this philosophy, we're held back by what are called the 5 afflictions. And I bet these are going to sound pretty familiar. We're talking about our attachments to things, to people, our basic ignorance about who we really are, the ego, that little voice that creates a false sense of me, our likes and dislikes, our aversions, and of course, the big one, the fear of death. The teaching says that as long as we're all tangled up in these, we're going to suffer. And look, these aren't just ancient problems. This is the universal human condition, right? And this quest to get past them, that's exactly why Shankara's vision is so timeless. It didn't just end with him. It sparked this incredible spiritual current that's been flowing for centuries. This whole idea of a mystical union inspired so many spiritual masters down the line. You might have even heard of some of the more recent ones, like Ramana Maharshi or Neem Karoli Baba. You can really see them as the modern inheritors of this very same ancient path.
And what's so fascinating is that people from all over the world were drawn to these masters. Not because they were performing miracles or anything like that, but because they lived this truth. They were walking embodiments of it. And how did they get there? Through the exact same stuff Shankara talked about: intense meditation, deep devotion, and that profound inner knowledge. Which, of course, brings us to the final and maybe the most important question of all. Is this state, this mystical union, this feeling of oneness, is it just for a handful of special, enlightened masters? Or is it something that's actually possible for, anyone? And the timeless answer that echoes down from these teachings is a definite yes. It is achievable. It doesn't come from some outside force or special blessing. It comes from your own sincere search for truth, from your own discipline, and really from having the courage to take that incredible journey inward.